Hey, this is me, JDS4696, and today I'm giving a film review for Pixels. And this is directed by Chris Columbus, the director of like blockbuster films like Home Alone 2, Lost in New York, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, various films like blockbuster, even like Miss Doubtfire, that starred the late Robin Williams. He is the director of this film, and it stars Adam Sandler, and you also have like Kevin James in it, Brian Cox. Like these are the stars that are very well known to me. They are also in this film as well. And like I mentioned, like in the trailer reaction, the film is about like aliens invading the Earth using like classic arcade games to attack us. And they decided to use like the arcade games because of the fact that they were misinterpreting that they are the video games that were sent out into space. I'm gonna touch on all that in the review. They're thinking that it's a threat from like mankind using like video games to like threaten them, so they decided to invade us using our video game. The technology from like the video games, like the characters and stuff, so like Pac-Man. You have like even like a scene with Donkey Kong, Galaga, and all them like that Cubert, all that kind of stuff they're using to invade us, to attack us. So Adam Sandler has to lead like this team of like this team like of other game players and like the military as well against the aliens. Which was kind of cool. To a certain extent. Like a lot of the fight scenes they have, like the action scenes where they're actually fighting the aliens off and stuff, I thought was pretty cool. But the film, I'm saying, like it has like its downfall, it has its moments where it's not really too great. But when it's like when they're on the scene fighting like the aliens, well, like the games, like basically, like, when they have like battles against like, say what it's like Galaga, like the centipede thing, or when it was like having a confrontation with like Pac-Man when it was trying to like eat him and stuff. Scenes like that were kind of like fun and cool. But the film opens like in like the beginning of it opens in 1982, so like over 30 years ago, if I'm not mistaken. And it shows Adam Sandler, like his character when he's like a little boy, and like his other friends too as well, like when they're like kids, and like they're introduced to like arcades, like in video games for the first time. So they play like the games inside the arcade, and they're very good at it. Because at one point they're so good. I think like the military or somebody, they take they record them like playing the gameplay footage. Like they take the gameplay footage that they did and sends it out into space. Like testing to see if there are any kind of alien life forms in space, as like a means to communicate with aliens. But then in turn, like it turns out like years later, the aliens perceive that as like a threat, and they decide to attack Earth. Cause back when they were having like the arcade championship, like when like Adam Sandler, like when he's like a kid, the MC of the event tells like everyone at the championship that a time capsule will be launched into space containing elements of like the present culture. So basically like the video games and stuff that they were playing and stuff, they used to actually send those, that's what I was meaning by them actually sending like the gameplays of them like playing the games and stuff out into like space on a tape, just as a means of like communicating with aliens if possible. Well, it turns out now this is like the oddest thing, like most unbelievable thing of the film. Like turns out that I guess something like that could happen. Turns out that Adam Sandler's friend, he actually turns out to be like the president of the United States, and he's played by Kevin James. So I automatically thought, I was like, whoa, that was just like too much. That they have like Kevin James, who was actually his friend as a kid, has now become the president of the United States, and he's played by Kevin James. So I thought that was kind of like, like whoa, that was like just too much. So it was like moments like that I thought was just, just absurd, how could that be possible? But I guess you could see that, obviously like Obama or like Clinton or Bush and them like that, obviously they had friends, too as well when they were kids, but it just seems so far-fetched, But the idea of that the aliens are using, and you don't never really get to see the aliens, I don't think, if I'm not mistaken, you don't get to see the aliens that are attacking us. You just get to see like the video games that they're sending to attack us, like Galaga. Like the moments when they're fighting like Galaga and stuff, like Adam Sandler, they have like these like laser like guns, and they're shooting at the centipedes. And that was kind of cool and like a fun scene. Cause when they're shooting like the centipedes and stuff, they like explode and everything. It's fun, Those moments like that were kind of like fun. But when it gets back to the scenes where they aren't dealing with like video games or anything like that, it's kind of like dull and does it. It still be kind of funny, because the idea of Kevin James is the president. that still kind of like hits me, and I think it's kind of funny, And like I said, it's just too much, what I'm saying. But it's okay. But then like the scene kind of, and this kind of is like towards the end of the film too, like with like Pac-Man, they actually had to face Pac-Man. I thought that was kind of odd too. I mean, it was cool, but I did like, cause Pac-Man is known for being like the hero. So it would seem like it would have been better if they would have had them like in the form of Pac-Man to a certain extent. Like maybe they could have been riding Pac-Mans, and eating the ghosts and stuff like that. And the ghosts were the threats to like the city. But in the film, you actually have like Pac-Man itself like attacking, like eating everything up and chomping, and they can eat like a person. They'll become like pixelated, and stuff like that. That was nothing I thought was kind of interesting about the film too. A lot of times when the victims were attacked or killed, they were like pixelated, like they become like pixels and like disintegrate. But that didn't always mean that they died, because there was like other like characters in the film, who got pixelated like that and stuff like the one of like the boys in the film, like one of the kids in the film, he was like the son of like the love interest in the film for Adam Sandler. I think he was her son. He got caught like that, but I'm not gonna spoil it. But he wasn't really like killed or anything like that. But you also have like a scene towards the end of the film too, with like the Donkey Kong, where Adam Sandler, they have to actually face like Donkey Kong, so they actually take like the Mario role, because you had to be like Mario, and you had to go work your way up and save like the lady. I don't know, I don't think that was Princess Peach or nothing like that. I'm not really mistaken, but I know that was Mario though, that you had to work your way up until and free like the lady from Donkey Kong. Instead, in the film, you have Adam Sandler and like his teammates, they're working their way up to knock Donkey Kong off. That was kind of cool and fun, But you actually do get to see like a scene of like Mario like jumping around, like a pixelated Mario, like he's jumping around through the city. You even see like Paperboy. You even see Q-Bird. Yeah, because Q-Bird is actually with Adam Sandler. I'm kind of familiar with that one to a certain extent. But I knew like Galaga, like, and I heard about Space Invaders. I know some of these. I'm kind of familiar with a lot of like the video game, like characters that they were actually like using in the film. I'm kind of familiar with a lot of those. But yeah, that's what the film was about, like aliens using like video game technology to invade Earth, because they perceived the initial like time capsule that was sent into space by by Earth as like a threat from like mankind. So they decided to use like the video game technology that they witnessed against us. So they sent like Pac-Man, like Galaga, the Centipede, Space Invaders, all that against us to fight us, And I thought this was okay, like the moments like that when they're actually battling like the games and stuff like that. I thought that was kind of cool. But when it gets to the moments where they're not doing that, I thought it was kind of like kind of dull. It wasn't really interesting. And then the idea of Kevin James as the president too, I thought that was kind of funny and cheesy, and it's like just too much. But I mean it was okay. I mean I could see him being the president, like like in other films, but the idea like when you saw that he was Adam Sandler's friend as a kid, how could that grow up and become like like a president, not mocking him or anything, it just seemed like it was just too much, But I mean, I thought it was okay, and I believe like especially like a retro gamer, if you're a fan of like retro games like Pac-Man, like Galaga or Donkey Kong, I would recommend definitely for them, that you watch it. If you're a part of that generation, I would recommend that you watch it. You may like it, So yeah, this is JDS 4696, and this is my review for Pixels. And again, it stars Adam Sandler. You have Kevin James, Brian Cox, and there's other like familiar like stars. They're the ones I'm really familiar with. And it is directed by Chris Columbus. He directed like Home Alone, Miss Doubtfire, Home Alone 2, Harry Potter, The Sorcerer's Stone, films like that. Like blockbuster films. All right, and that was my review for Pixels. All right.